The legalization of cannabis is important to this campaign.
My whole adult life, I've been surrounded by people, successful, creative people who smoke weed and who are dying for this to happen. We're ecstatic that it's happened in Illinois and in Michigan so that we can buy it legally. But why not Indiana?
37 states and 4 territories, inclusive of Washington, D.C., have medical marijuana. Prior to the Roman Empire, they talked about marijuana being used as a joint-related relief medicine.
And veterans deserve this. Some of the people I serve with use it medicinally for anxiety and PTSD-related issues.
Thousands of people I've represented had possession of marijuana charges, messed up their housing, their ability to get jobs. They lose out on mortgages. People lost jobs for getting arrested.
That's not right. We need to do better.
By legalizing cannabis, you're able to not only benefit the consumer, but the producer now, right? Now we have farms in Illinois where cannabis is being grown. The economic impact that it makes is tremendous, not only for the state, but for smaller towns as well.
I get what you guys are saying, but being in an elected position now, I feel like our responsibility to be part of this conversation. And Mayor, in the 20 years that I've known you, you've always said that someone's got to start the tough conversations, and I know you're the guy that always does.
Here's the bottom line. We need to legalize marijuana on the federal level. We need to also legalize cannabis in Indiana as well, so Hoosiers could get the health and economic benefits of cannabis. That's the future we all deserve.
Good morning, Lockpod. Good morning, Mayor.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. We can hear you great. And I think now we're in studio, so we can see you on Skype and we can hear you. And we just introed something. Why don't you intro Lockpod as you always do, please?
Oh, hey, I don't know. It feels weird doing it from the road like this. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod. Mayor Tom's on the road today, so this is going to be handled by Kevin. And I know you have a special guest,
Yeah,
right?
not yet. John's on his way in, but this is Belgium's favorite podcast. And I guess we want to talk, before John Cantrell gets in here, and he's going to be in about 10 minutes, we just got to watch, and for those who just got to listen, because they're listening to this on the pod afterwards, the Puff heard around the world, or the Light Up heard around the world. So why don't we just kind of first, Mayor, if you could, introduce to those that may not have seen it, but so many did, because I know you got like hundreds of thousands of impressions on your Twitter feed and hundreds of thousands of views on your Facebook feed. So,
Instagram.
And Instagram, absolutely. So, but just explain what happened this week and really why you're on the road right now.
And real quick, before you get started, Tom, I see you're in a car on a cell signal, so if you can each give each other a couple seconds before you respond to each other in case there's any kind of delay. But go ahead.
Sure. Well, I'm driving with Smitty right now.
Hey, Smitty.
In his personal vehicle. Lindsay said, hey. Everybody else did not say anything, though. I noticed that. But so we're driving across beautiful Indiana right now. No, I'm just kidding. We're in the region. But we're on our way to Lafayette with the Cannabis Tour with the Indiana Democratic Party. I've made stops in Indy so far, Fort Wayne, South Bend. Today we're doing Lafayette, Floyd County, and then I'm the main speaker tonight in Ohio County, so I'm driving across the state tonight. And then on Monday we're doing Evansville and I think Terre Haute. So we've been chatting a lot about the decriminalization of marijuana in Indiana and federally. Obviously, I'm running for U.S. Senate, so I want to be part of the solution when it comes to the legalization of cannabis.
And Mayor, why did you decide on 420 to drop that ad that's gotten so much play, not only around the state, but around the Midwest and the country?
What's funny, Kevin, is in the first press conference in Indianapolis, there was all the media was there. It was really a big one. And they asked me that, well, why today? And I was like, it's 420. That's why we're doing it today. It was premeditated. We cut the commercial. Actually, your guest today, it was his idea ultimately. Him and I had breakfast. He told me about an idea he had for a commercial, but we had to move quick because 420 Day is coming up. And I bought into it, and I pitched it to Kevin and to Zach and to the campaign team, and then it just came into a fruition from there. But we had a tight timeline, and we needed to find a place in Illinois where we could shoot the commercial so we didn't break the law. And our treasurer had a friend that lived in Crete Township, and we used his backyard. It was a perfect setting. It was within 1 mile of the Indiana border, and We did not break the law at all during the commercial. We purchased the cannabis in Illinois. We did not cross the state line back to Indiana. We consumed all the cannabis during the commercial shoot, and then I had a designated driver actually driving me around.
Let me ask you though, like just from a kind of an issue standpoint, why was this issue? Because I mean, you could have done it a lot of different ways, right? It could have just been talking about it. Why was this issue so important to you to bring out at this time?
Well, it's funny, Kevin. I was talking to a good lawyer friend of mine just recently, and the lawyer and I were going, we were just talking about what's going on, and my lawyer friend said, yeah, I got this possession of marijuana case right now. I'm trying to get rid of this guy. Poor guy went over to Illinois and bought marijuana illegally and got pulled over in Indiana. And I was like, wow, I can't believe you still have these cases. Like, I knew that as a public defender I had those cases, but it still sort of boggles my mind that in 37 states you could purchase this product legally, and in Indiana, if you get caught with it, you get pulled over and you could, get arrested. You could get thrown in jail. You could lose your professional licenses. Like if you're a doctor or a lawyer, or, you get your license through the state, you could lose your livelihood just for possession of this plant.
And on the road, Mayor, have you seen, like, what's been the impact or what's been the reaction to either the ad or the issue as you've traveled around the state?
It's a big deal. Every stop we make on this tour has all the local media. We were in Fort Wayne. We had multiple TV cameras in there. Not a lot of people in Fort Wayne, but multiple TV cameras. So presumably most of Fort Wayne's going to see that story last night. South Bend, same thing. Indianapolis was a huge crowd, and a lot of veterans. We were at American Legion Hall. Huge crowd. All the local media was there, including multiple statewide reporters. And I know today in Lafayette, it's hard to keep my bearings of where we're going. We're going to Lafayette and to Floyd County. I know all the local media has bought into coming out and, asking questions and put it on the local TV station. So Indiana's got 7 media markets. So whenever you do a statewide tour like this, it's quite the undertaking to make sure you get into each media market. So.
Yeah, and I thought, like, one of the interesting things to me is that, you're going to always have critics and you're going to have haters out there that say, oh, this is just Tom smoking pot. And to me, because I know you and I know how you feel about this issue, it's so much more than, oh, I can go smoke weed now whenever I want. And I think that's the kind of interesting thing, and you've brought that up in the commercial, and actually you just brought it up right now about veterans, medicinal issues, not, even decriminalization, not buying things from a corner drug dealer. I mean, things like that I'm sure, and I know I've heard you talk about it, but maybe you can voice some of those things that you've developed on this issue, because I think it's so important.
Yeah, that's true, though, what you just said about, the most dangerous part of marijuana is the possession of it and obtaining it. Using it is really, it's like drinking a beer, quite frankly. It's really not much more intoxicating than a couple beers. But obtaining that plant is a dangerous proposition in Indiana, because to obtain that plant, you have to go to a drug dealer. And a lot of times drug dealers are not just going to have marijuana on them. Drug dealers are going to have cocaine, heroin, all the above, crack, whatever. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when you're dealing with drug dealers, things go bad. We just had a drug deal in Hammond within the last couple of weeks that went bad, and somebody ended up dead out of the transaction. And we've seen that happen all too often. There's a case out of Porter County right now where a young lady just wanted to buy marijuana. She contacted 2 individuals who picked her up and robbed her and killed her. I mean, so obtaining cannabis is a dangerous proposition. And obviously possessing cannabis is also a dangerous proposition, especially for lawyers, doctors, or individuals, young men and women that get caught with it, risk getting a record, getting arrested, getting something on their record that'll prevent them from getting a good job. One thing about Mayor McDermott in my tenure, one of the common themes that you'll notice is I don't like getting treated like a second-class citizen. We see it all too often in the region where state laws apply evenly to everybody in Indiana except for Lake County. And this one is the same. 37 out of the 50 states, this plant is legal. And in Indiana, it's not, and it needs to change. And I want to be part of the solution for that.
Mayor, one of the things I thought was pretty cool on the tour is some of the state legislators and you have pointed to people that have kind of been the trailblazer on this in Indiana. And I know you've brought up a couple people, and maybe you could take a chance to talk about them as well, because I know they've come up on the campaign trail.
Yeah, I call them the OGs. Senator Cantrell floated a marijuana decriminalization bill in Indiana way before it was appropriate. It was like, what? When you heard about her floating that bill. And it was only like 10 years ago. So Cantrell, although we didn't ultimately succeed and get marijuana decriminalized under her tenure, she pushed the ball forward a lot. Another OG on this issue, in my opinion, is Ryan Mears, the Marion County prosecutor. Ryan Mears is, when he took office as the Marion County prosecutor, one of his first acts was to decriminalize marijuana in Marion County. So the police can still arrest people. He's just not going to prosecute the case. So as a result, in Marion County, cannabis has been decriminalized. So I think Ryan Mears is a very important person in moving the ball forward on this issue. Sue Arrington, she's a legislator out of Muncie. She's also floated bills, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years on the decriminalization of marijuana. She's had a lot to do with this issue as well, and I appreciate her. She was at the stop yesterday in Fort Wayne. And then I think I'm going to be up on that wall of fame one day when this is legalized for taking the first puff in a Hoosier campaign commercial. But there was people that came before me, trailblazers, so to speak, on this issue. And it's going to ultimately be legal in Indiana. And when it is, we'll look back on those 3 people, Sue Arrington, representative, Karen Talion, Indiana State Senator, and Ryan Mears, the Marion County prosecutor, people that really pushed the ball forward on this issue.
Tom, John actually just is in the studio now, so you got both of us.
I see that.
Hey, Tom.
My first law partner. Tough lawyers, right, John?
Super tough.
Right up to the mic.
Sorry, sir.
Like almost in your mouth. See this big microphone?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to
put it in your face.
Put it right in your face.
Eat that mic.
What's going on?
You're sitting in the big chair today, John.
I know. Locomotive.
The locomotive chair.
It's a very important chair.
Being a locomotive is better than being the caboose.
You're telling me. One of the things I wanted.
It was John Cantrell's idea for the commercial, by the way.
Wow, I like that.
Reckless.
We had breakfast at the wheel, and it was his idea, and we ran with it. It worked.
It was more of a brunch, but yes.
I didn't know they serve brunch at the wheel.
I honestly always want to be that devil on your shoulder because I know Kevin's in your ear as your angel. So you need the devil.
It's good to have both.
You need the devil.
You have to have both. You need a devil and an angel. I agree.
Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to do was kind of go through some of the comments on, almost like this is almost like Maritime Mailbag, right?
Yeah, sure.
Mean tweets. Mean tweets.
Mean tweets. Exactly. So. Some of them are actually pretty good, and some of them are interesting because I think it actually brings up.
I saw one. One naturally said, he's a cokehead. He does all this stuff. I saw those. That's classic. Yeah. I've never done any other drug in my life other than alcohol and marijuana. So let's just make that clear right at the get go. I've heard that. Those aren't drugs. So.
All right, so here we go. Here's one, and I'm going to read a couple of the reactions to you, and I think this is an interesting topic, and I want you to address it. So this is at Indy B. Hoffman on Twitter. So many things are wrong with this state and this country, and you pick weed as the issue important to you, ? Hashtag why Dems are screwed. And then there's a couple responses, actually pretty funny responses. Tell me you know nothing about Tom McDermott's Senate campaign without telling me you know nothing about it. I thought that was good. And then Gabriel, or at Gabe Surface, do you think this is the only issue he cares about? I think Dems are allowed to be passionate about a number of things. This issue is about the economy. It's about racial justice. It's about mental health. It's about a lot of things. And then the next person actually at BDW, weed is a pretty important issue to the 10,000 Hoosiers who are arrested for its possession every year. We call ourselves the land of the free, yet we incarcerate people for weed. It's important to me that we uphold this value of personal liberty and responsibility. So how do you kind of address the whole this is now the one issue?
I'd like to point something that's very important out. It was 420, guys. That's why we did it on that day. It's not the most important issue in America. I acknowledge it is important to the 10,000 Hoosiers that are arrested every year for possession of that drug. Obviously, that's a big deal for them. But the reason we were talking about it on that day is because it was April 20th, which is Stoner Christmas, which is why we dropped it on that day. And it's not the most important issue in America, I acknowledge, but that's why on April 20th, we're talking about it, because that's the day that, people that use cannabis across the country, that's their day.
Can I say something about this particular issue? And this is one of the things that I wanted to make sure I talked about on the show today. You have you and your opponent, lawyers, veterans, and he's super conservative, you're not. A lot of times when states are pushing for legalized cannabis, or cities or governors, it's like the owner of a strip club or Larry the Magician who's pushing this. We have an amazing human that's willing to go to war for us. He's the perfect candidate. You look at him and Todd Young, they're lawyers, they're veterans. Tom went to Notre Dame. Like, you have a Notre Dame lawyer grad who's a veteran who's trying to advocate for this. We have a gem of a human who's trying to go to war on this issue, and that's why I'm so excited that Tom's willing to take this battle on.
Well, I think the point you're making, John's a good one, right? When you Main Street it, when you all of a sudden become mainstream on it, and you have somebody like Tom who, for all, to everyone, and we know it's true, is successful, is smart, is normal, and all of a sudden you have, well, I mean, I don't know about normal, but
I was going to say, you guys are being really nice to him right now.
But you have
Keep
somebody
on.
that can bring it to the forefront.
Yes.
And I think that you keep hearing this word, it takes courage to run for Senate, it takes courage to be the mayor, it takes courage to take on issues that other people are just staying silent on. And I would say this about Todd Young: your silence speaks volumes.
Yeah, his cell signal's really jumping around.
All right, but
now.
I mean, that's the right. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what you're saying. We're both saying the same thing about this issue. There you go, Tom. Go ahead.
I'm going to listen to the show, guys.
Okay, yeah,
All right, you're out.
we're starting to lose
I'm
you.
going to listen to the show, guys. I'm sort of in the sticks.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, guys.
All right,
See
take
ya.
care.
Yeah.
Tell Smitty I sent him a
Talk
new
later.
address. All right. I gave him the wrong address.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's great.
I sent him the new one.
Oh man.
John Cantrell in the studio.
I'm excited to be here, honestly, because I truly have a lot to say, so I'm going to try to squeeze my comments into the best of my ability.
Beautiful. All right, but before we do that, we're going to do some ads, and we're going to come back with more mean tweets and some Tom mailbag, because there's some really interesting stuff on there that we can talk about. And I also want to talk to you and John both, and we can all three talk, I guess, about the set when we did the ad,
Yeah.
some stuff that went on there and how it kind of developed. So I think that's exciting, too, to see the back.
Shoot. It was a fun shoot.
Yeah, it wasn't one shot. It wasn't one.
No,
it wasn't on one take. Was it, John?
It was about 6 hours.
This is a
It
behind the
was
scenes
John
episode.
wrangling a a bunch of stoners together.
It's
like
John and I
herding
herding
cats.
cats. Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's do some ads. Lindsay, go ahead, start us off.
I go first.
Eva said, Kevin, that's not funny. Make sure they have the right address.
I did. They do, Eva.
Okay.
Okay. The Ron J. Prestimer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond, serving all of your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestimer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses all around Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Challenger Learning Center. Challenger will be hosting summer camp sessions this June and July for students entering kindergarten through 6th grades. Oh, John's got somebody at his house in kindergarten through 6th grades.
I do.
It's like a Mimi thing to do.
Yep.
Space is limited for these camps, and they fill up quickly. Scholarships are also available. For more information and to register your young scientist today, visit clcnwi.com or call 219-989-3250.
Misprint. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom commercial on-demand printing and sign solutions. Rick Balzenberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. Misprint has 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and Hammond.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard of Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Got to have Lindsay Cam on that one.
That's my favorite song of all time.
She gets the people going.
Yes, she does.
Let's be honest.
That's why she's a notorious
provocative.
LMP. Evocative, provocative.
All right. In the second grade, she was the youngest violinist in the Guggenheim Elementary School Orchestra. And in 1988, she took first place at State National History Day for her moving rendition of Theodore Roosevelt as San Juan Hill. And in 1993, while other kids were busy moshing at raves, she was busy writing research papers and reading Horace Illustrated. And when it comes to electing a circuit court judge, don't you want someone who was wearing glasses way before it was cool? This May 3rd, vote for a nerd. Marissa McDermott for Lake Circuit Court Judge. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Judge Marissa McDermott. Also, you don't mosh at raves.
Thank you. Well, that just goes to show her nerdiness, doesn't it? Since
She really doesn't
since she
understand
wrote the
what's
commercial.
happening.
All
You
right.
roll at raves.
We're back with John Cantrell, criminal defense lawyer extraordinaire.
I think he's
And
preparing.
you look ready.
like, a
You're ready for
case or
court. I
something.
know.
Yeah.
He's got his legal pad out. He's taking some notes about how to get this guy out of jail today.
No, I was going through some notes I left on my iPhone, so I was writing on the legal pad.
So, John, Tom mentioned that this was kind of an idea you had with him, and maybe personally you could talk about, was it a big decision for you to go on the video, or were you at all concerned about the message that you might be given to the viewing public?
Sure. I mean, it's something that you have to have some guts to just even go to war on this. But I will say, and it's hard to do. Like, I really felt like I went and did this commercial. Like, my dad might ground me. And like, honestly, like, a lot of people found out that day that I was pro marijuana. A lot of people that I'm close with, that's not something I talk about. It's not something that people talk about. But I've been overwhelmed by people just coming up to me and saying, I smoke. Thank you for doing that. Like, there's so many people. I already knew a lot of people smoked weed, but there's a lot of people who I know personally who I didn't know that they had an affinity for. But I'd say about 107% of my clients smoke weed. So it wasn't really, I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be judged in my kid's school, but it'll happen. But I mean, this is something that's important because people should try marijuana. Maybe they'll like it.
Yeah.
Maybe they should chill out a little bit.
Funny story. My mom, she never calls me. She calls my wife. So she calls Janet and says, I saw that there's two lawyers. She read the art paper because she gets a newspaper at her house, right?
Yes.
I saw there are two lawyers in this marijuana video. Kevin's not one of them, is he? So my mom's concerned.
She was worried about a contact buzz.
Apparently,
in open
I
air.
got that. That was a long shoot. So,
I can confirm Kevin did not partake. None of the technical
It doesn't
crew
surprise
did.
me
No,
at
the
all.
technical crew was
We had to
very
stay completely
professional.
sober. Yeah.
So, John, but the issue you brought up on
What's
the
it
video.
called? Straight edge?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Straight edge.
Yeah.
I'm not straight edge. The issue you brought up on the video is one I know that you have personally experienced many times, and anybody who's represented anybody with a possession charge of marijuana over the last however many years we practiced, you almost 20, me almost 30. Talk about that issue. Like, talk about the issue you brought up on the commercial, which was I've represented thousands of people.
Yeah. And people try to fact check me on that. Thousands of people. In Hammond City.
I was going to say Hammond City Court alone.
At Hammond City Court, it was open for 19 years while I was practicing. It's 10 a week for 19 years, all day, every day.
Every day.
And so it is thousands of people. And people who come into Lake County courts and they get into a bar fight. They punch somebody, they break their eye socket, they get 3 years probation, they got a real good job, they work in the mill, their grandma dies, they smoke weed, they're going to jail. I mean,
and you have it on your record.
Yeah, you have it on your record. You can honestly go to jail for a plant, and it's crazy to me. Now, when people have a vape cartridge in their car, so a THC vape cartridge, they're driving down the street. Cops like, oh, it smells kind of like weed. They're like, oh, I got my vape cartridge. They're from Illinois or they're a smoker from Indiana. You're going to get arrested that day.
And it's not an infraction.
No, it's worse. If you have a vape cartridge, it's possession of a controlled substance. It's not even marijuana. So you get possession of a controlled substance on your record.
Wow. And so, John,
it's intense.
Also, I know, as a guy from East Chicago, you're from North County, just like we all are in here. And do you see it as an offense that seems to impact minority communities greater than the white community?
100%, for sure. I mean, if you look at Hispanic people and African American people, they go to jail for it, and then you have rich people, mostly rich white people, get rich off marijuana in other states. It's crazy, the disparity, and it really affects minorities and poor people because marijuana makes your food taste better. So if you live in a neighborhood and you want to have a huge party and you don't have a lot of money, You can get some marijuana, have a cookout, and have a really great day. You don't need to go to Las Vegas if you have marijuana. It takes people to magical places. It's a plant that, I don't know if you believe in a higher power, God, Buddha, Mother Nature, whatever you believe in, like this plant was given to us like salt. I mean, it's no different than criminalizing the use of salt because it makes people die of diabetes. This is something that a higher power gave to us. See what you can do with it.
These are some interesting arguments.
And so, but at the end of the day, John, do you think that decriminalization of it is something that will have a positive effect?
100%. A positive effect. If somebody's trying to buy marijuana, they often will go to social media. They're going to go meet somebody in a dark alley. People are hurt, robbed. Horrible things happen to them when they're trying to buy it.
And these are stories. I mean, it's one thing to just be like, I bet people are robbed and hurt and everything in dark, but this is stuff that you know, and you've been part of as an attorney.
The Adriana Saucedo case, a girl from Porter County went on Facebook and said, hey, who has marijuana? I'm talking about this case because I know I defended somebody who was charged with her murder. 3 young kids in high school said they wanted to meet her up. She wanted to buy $100 worth of marijuana. It turned into a robbery. She was shot in the stomach. She died, and she was dumped in an abandoned school in Gary because she was trying to buy weed.
And I mean, that's just one story, I'm sure, of many around the state, and several, I'm sure, dozens, if not more, around the country.
For sure, there's horrible stories, but people. They get charged with possession of marijuana or possession of a controlled substance because they have a vape cartridge. And some of the vape cartridges, depending on the size, you can get booked for a felony in 2 minutes, and you just have a little cartridge in your car.
So John, what do you say to the people that say, well, I mean, that's not really a reason to decriminalize marijuana. Why don't you just decriminalize heroin and decriminalize cocaine and everything, and decriminalize whatever other pills are out there? Why do you think marijuana should be legalized versus other drugs?
Well, I mean, just think about domestic battery. Nobody really smokes a bunch of weed and eats a bunch of food and then goes and beats up their significant other. Some drugs need to be regulated. Some drugs kill people. Some drugs are highly addictive. Those drugs need to be regulated. Marijuana is in a completely different category, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it's like if you're going to legalize alcohol.
Yes.
I mean, how many people do we know that have either died from alcohol or act absolutely bizarre on alcohol, right? I mean, violent.
Kill somebody in a DUI accident.
And wake up in the morning in jail and wonder what the hell just happened, right?
Yeah, so. I mean, it's there's things that are infinitely worse, but they all should be regulated, but weed should be legalized.
You know what also really gets me about marijuana legalization is that what I heard a lot on Twitter after this ad came out was that this is the only topic that he's taking a stand on. But the thing about weed legalization impacts so many different fields of the world, facets of the world, groups of people. Like you've got race issues, you got a justice issue, you got disability that it affects, you got veterans that it affects, you've got all these different like fields and topics that this touches on. And taking a stance on this takes a stance on all of those different topics that come up in conversation. So I don't understand why people think this is like a one-track type of situation. It touches on all kinds of things.
I agree with that completely. And weed is something that can help Tom win. Because if you compare Tom and Todd on paper...
I mean, it's a crossover issue.
It's a crossover issue, but there are hundreds of thousands of people that want weed legalized. I'm in a different position, I think, than a lot of people here because I lived in Indianapolis for 3 years, and I lived on the river on the Indiana side for 3 years.
That's right.
So I went to the same law school that Todd Young did. I graduated a couple years earlier, and I have friends all over the state, and everybody smokes marijuana. Like this is not a well-kept secret. Everybody smokes marijuana, and this is an issue that people could say, you know what, I'm not going to vote for Todd Young because I want Tom McDermott because he has a great stance on all issues, but he's also for legalizing weed. And it's not just the issue, but it's the issue that can get him elected.
I think it's definitely a big crossover issue. And I think the thing that I want to be careful of, though, is it's not, and I think Tom pointed out, he's like, look, this is 420. Yeah. This is the week we're doing the Cannabis Tour. That's why this issue is important this week. And it's going to be important through the campaign, but it's not going to be the issue.
Well, and my agenda is trying to motivate people who smoke weed to go register and vote. I mean, the part of the problem is I was going to go vote.
They're not asleep on election day.
I was going to go vote, but then I got high. I mean, that's the problem. So, I mean, a lot of pot smokers aren't registered. They don't vote. They don't remember to vote. So, I mean, that's one of the things that people who are interested in this need to do. Make some TikTok videos, get young people involved. People at the colleges need to do this, because if you love Indiana, you got to elect a good senator, and that's Tom McDermott. And you also get weed as a bonus.
John, see if you can throw up that. See if you can throw up that T-shirt that hit the store. Okay. I don't know if we have a picture of that. In the meantime, I want to talk about a couple of really fun tweets that Tom got.
Well, Kevin, too, I want to say real quick.
Yeah,
Tom
John
is in the chat. So for those watching live, if you have a question for Tom, get in the chat and ask him a question. And for those that are going to listen to this after the fact on like Apple Podcast, I'll just read you something Tom just wrote in the chat. I am for the decriminalization of cannabis. I am also for the expungement of records of all people who have been convicted of a crime involving marijuana.
Yeah, that was in response to a question on the chat that asked, how do you feel about retroactive justice and retroactive, decriminalization of it? So I think that's what Tom's saying. So,
and by the way, John, you have some fans in the chat.
I know.
You are getting some love, man. Look at this. All the Cantrells are brilliant, hardworking fighters and great souls. Another one said...
That's from an employee of mine. Nothing about me.
Another one said, John Cantrell is a brilliant lawyer and a great soul. That might also be from someone connected to Kevin. Nothing about Kevin.
Nothing about me so far.
I'm so excited that people are worried about my soul, because I constantly am.
Hey, I gotta throw this up.
Your wife is.
Check this out. All right, this is some behind the scenes stuff here.
I like your glasses.
First
in the
off, let's talk about these glasses.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh, whose glasses are those, John?
Joe Biden's.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Those are my wife's glasses.
They're fantastic.
Yes,
they look great
so cool.
on you.
It was absolutely positively kind of cloudy, but had some sun. So like we were out there for 6 hours. Of course I had sunglasses on. It was mildly sunny out.
And also, I don't know if everyone can see this.
Oh, is this on 4-8?
No.
John's
This is on John.
Backwards.
The joint is backwards. This is like a behind the scenes thing that people don't notice. Is that joint backwards?
I
in your
noticed
hand?
it the
I
first
thought he was
time I
just
saw it.
flipping
I
it.
was like, "What the hell?"
Is that how you hold it? You smoke it the other way?
Does he smoke it like this? Like
I was flipping it around.
I remember that.
Yeah.
He was twiddling, like, moving it around.
Honestly, like what I said took at least 170 takes. So, so it was behind my ear. It was in all kinds of different places. But yeah.
And there's rumors going around that there was oregano in these joints.
Oh,
They were fake.
No.
Yeah.
We wish
these
that
were
was the
paid
case,
actors.
Kevin.
Yeah. Like I had a lot of people texting me about that. They're like, "Ooh, your dad's gonna be mad," or like Coach Gaber Russ Marcinek, my high school teammate, was like, "Yeah, Coach Gaber's gonna make you run after practice for this one." And so I people were like, "Hey, I saw you." I'm like, "That was oregano." Like that's what I tell my nun teachers. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nice.
And I saw the Dr. Forer was in there. There was a great, he was listed as designated driver, and he was actually.
Which is hilarious to me.
Well, but he actually was. But I thought there was a funny tweet that came out. John, read that one. It was really funny from Bill Baker.
This is about Dr. Mike. Did you use that designated driver ? I hope not. He appears to be high as an airplane.
That's just his default setting.
I
all the
agree.
time.
That is Dr.
You know
Mike's
how
default
how
setting.
hard it would be to be as high as an airplane.
I don't know on that day.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Dr. Mike, as a physician and as a person, I know this is a big issue for him. He actually sat in the studio and talked about legalization of marijuana. But on that day, he was Tom's ride, and he was actually really good in the commercial too.
No, the people who wanted to come and be in the commercial, and the people who showed up there who also wanted to be in the commercial and talk. It comes down to a 30-second spot or a 1-minute spot, whatever it turned out to be. But there's some amazing humans who showed up there, wanted to advocate for Tom and wanted to advocate for the legalization and decriminalization of weed.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's the cool thing about this is that once Tom made the ask of some people that were in that, all of the people in the commercial, everyone was like, absolutely, I'm there. I want to do it. This is an important issue to me.
Yeah, and I think everybody needs to get talking about it. There's a lot of people who smoke weed and take edibles. Go to the Mission and buy 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams. Try it. If you don't know anything about marijuana, try it. Maybe
John's
maybe
like John's
Try
like,
it with a trusted individual.
Yeah, of course.
Don't be by yourself.
With a designated driver. You know what? The best thing to do is get a designated driver. Go to the Mission. Get off on Torrance. Head north. Buy some milligrams. You can buy a pack of 25 milligrams, take 5 starting out, take 10, stop at Sonic on your way home with your designated driver. I
Get whatever
promise,
shake you want.
Yes, you'll have a great time. Honestly.
I'm almost tempted. John, throw up the T-shirt if you can.
Okay.
This is kind of something cool on the campaign website. There's a little
Can
bit
I
of
just
a
get
take.
one?
Yeah, you got to order it though.
I don't.
You gotta
I have to pay for my dad's own merch.
Not of it. Well, make him pay for it.
It's
Okay.
it's 50-50.
Are you just used to getting free things?
Let me zoom in on
From
this.
my father, yeah, from his merch.
So-
I get free stuff all the time.
Look at you.
Look at this weed logo.
Yeah, so it took kind of the logo and a play on it for 420. Those are available on the campaign website, gomcdermott.com.
And they're 50-50, so it's very smooth on your skin.
There you go.
Yeah. 50% cotton, 50% polyester.
And don't worry, the 2XLs and 3XLs are coming back, according to Zach. He's managing this page.
People are furious in the chat that there's no bigger sizes. So we
they're
gotta
coming.
get that going.
They're coming.
Yeah.
I had about 100
We
texts
had
of people
3XL,
trying to.
but they sold out.
Sold out.
Yeah, people,
Not for long.
People love that shirt.
Yeah, it's cool.
Which one?
Dope.
McDermott for Senate with a little
this one, yeah.
a sprinkle of
Yeah, and there's
oregano
also
on
going
the
to be
side.
that, by the way, for those that want to just have a regular campaign shirt, they're going to have those available too as well soon. So keep tuned.
One of the things that I think more people need to come out, and more people need to donate money, and more people need to get their friends registered. And Tom has started this conversation. How many people saw this video?
Me.
Oh my God.
So
Raise your
I
hand.
think the last time I looked at Tom's, now this is not the campaign site, Tom's personal Twitter, it was like 120,000 impressions.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's part of it, right? Is that when you have a platform like Tom has for the campaign, you can bring issues to the forefront. And the earned media that he got on behalf of the campaign and the issue was huge.
If you just Google McDermott for Senate, everywhere in the country had this in their newspaper. Yep. USA Today, Google News. I mean,
yeah,
is that right?
I was talking to my brother in
Oh my
LA,
gosh.
and he was like, he called me last night about it, and he said, I clicked on the link, and I was like, holy shit. He's like, that is really bold.
Yes.
Like, even, and he's like, in California, that would be bold.
I went to college in Louisville. I had people saw me who I went to college with on TV in Louisville about it. Just showing the commercial.
All over it,
Yeah,
right?
all over.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that's right. I mean, if you think about it, that's really the whole point of this is like, let's bring issues up. And Tom and I were talking yesterday, and he's like, this has been great. We've got so many other issues to talk about. And now that we've got kind of this bigger platform, I know we can get the issues out and have Hoosiers listen, hear about them, know about them, and go to win this thing in November.
Is Indiana a conservative state? I'd have to say I don't think so. Indiana has a bunch of conservative people that vote. Now, if you look at the population in Indiana, 6.7 million. Okay, so what age? What out of the 6.7 million? What is over 18? I don't have those figures, but 1.3 voted in the last election where Todd Young won in 2016. So out of 6.7 million, 1.3 voted. There are a lot of stoners and a lot of people who love moderates. Everybody's in the middle. Like all people are in the middle, but the people in the middle, the 80% of Democrats who want to legalize it and the 60% of Republicans that want to legalize it in Indiana, according to polls, they need to register and come out and vote because this is a huge issue.
It doesn't take long to go back in Indiana history to know that Democrats can win. I mean, Barack Obama won the presidential in 2008, right? So it's about getting the vote out.
Yes.
I think you're right, John, that a lot, people think of it as a Republican state because so many of the state rep districts and Senate districts have been drawn so that Republicans have a supermajority in the House, they have a supermajority in the Senate, they've won statewide. Donald Trump has won overwhelmingly. But it doesn't mean that Democrats can't win. I mean, Joe Donnelly won in 2010. You had Democratic governors, on and on and on. So it's just a matter, I think, of the person, and that's why I think Tom has such a good chance this November. One is making sure to get the issues out and his word out, right? That takes money. That takes the ability to have a platform. And then it also, I think, one-on-one, when you see Tom McDermott and Todd Young on a stage, it's going to be like night and day. I mean, you're going to know the difference right away.
For sure. I mean, Todd Young, if you look at his history, he married Dan Quayle's niece. He's ultra conservative. If you give him a conservative scale, he's in the 90%. Tom's in the middle. All of these people that are in the middle, all these people that are moderates that are a little left of center or anywhere in the center need to vote for Tom McDermott. One of the things that Indiana has is this huge untapped population of people that don't vote, and we need to mobilize them, both as moderates and also as pot smokers and THC users. Everybody needs to vote. People need to register friends. There needs to be voter registration drives, and that's the whole problem with when an election gears up. Okay, it's October, middle of October, everybody's getting ready for elections. It's Halloween time, signs are out, but you can't even register to people vote 30 days prior to the election. So it needs to start now. Everybody needs to start registering to vote, and you can have a bunch of people come in, start groups together, mobilizing and organizing stoners, kids at colleges. You can have register a stoner to vote day. I mean, there's all kinds of things that need to be done to help Tom out, and I think the stoner population can get it done. That's one of the reasons why at brunch, at the wheel, I said, Tom, you got to do this.
Well, it was so far, John. It was a good idea, I think, and it definitely brought this issue to the forefront. It's an issue I know it's important to you. So let's do this. We're going to do some ads, and John and I are going to come back and talk a little bit about something else, which is the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. It's going to be exciting.
Amber Turd is trending on Twitter.
Whoa, Amber Turd.
Hashtag Amber Turd.
Wow.
So I think in the court of public opinion, someone's winning this.
So far,
sure.
But man, I heard some cross-examination yesterday, and it was like, whoa. It's basically like, let's air all our dirty laundry for hundreds of millions of people to see. That's what it's coming down to me.
They're just two toxic people who need to spend very long time away from each other.
Yeah, I was like, these two could be from Lake County.
I know, right? It's like a Lake County divorce proceeding.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he decided to sue based on what they were cross-examining him with. Like, it's just ridiculous.
We are going to get into that. So let's do some ads. John's going to start us out with the ads, and we're going to be right back and talk about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Amber Turd.
Calumet Brewing, nearly 10 years in the making. Bud Light Next, our first zero-carb beer, is a result of brewing breakthrough making the impossible possible. Super crisp and refreshing, Bud Light Next is a light lager with 4% ABV and is brewed with the highest quality ingredients while containing only 80 calories, 0 grams of sugar, 0 carbs. Here's what's next. Head over to calbrew.com for more info. Cheers with beers.
Wow. And a little-known fact, John Cantrell does not drink.
I had a pancreatic tumor in 2004, and that's why I cannot drink alcohol. I can't even have carbonation or any alcohol. So, I mean, sometimes my job is hard.
So even though we want to promote Bud Light Next, you won't be having one.
I will gladly drive you around and drive my wife and law partner and the love of my life around.
Sober.
Yes.
Executive Suites 2, Executive Suites Squared, commonly known as ES2, is a first-class executive office environment located on 8094th Kennedy Avenue exit. ES2 offers flexible membership plans that provide the privacy of dedicated, fully furnished offices with 24/7 secured access. For more information on their basic or private office membership packages or to rent one of their state-of-the-art conference rooms, call them at 219-844-2901 or visit them at Executive Suites 2. That's Executive Suites, the number 2.com.
Oh my gosh, is this real, Kevin?
We have a
this
TikTok?
text message?
Yes, there's a TikTok.
The campaign has a TikTok.
Campaign has a TikTok. We're going to throw it up there in a minute.
Something.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Grisolia's Concrete was voted #1 in the Times Best of the Region 2020 and 2021. Grisolia's Concrete specializes in all concrete projects, and they've been using the original cement finish in the
California style.
That sounds so much better than your dad.
He doesn't have a perfect pitch like I do.
Since 1972, they also offer stamped and colored concrete. Call now at 219-659-4147 to get your project lined up for this summer. John, how about on Mission Marijuana?
How about you read that one? An ad earlier.
Are you looking for the closest cannabis dispensary to Northwest Indiana? Yes. Searching for the best prices and unbeatable customer service? John. Then look no further. Stop in the Mission Dispensary located in Calumet City, across from River Oaks on Torrance.
Voice is back.
Visit missiondispensaries.com to learn more. It's so cool. You go into the Mission. There's an iPad there. You look up what you want. You scroll through pages. You click on what you want. You go up to the front counter. You pay them, and they give you cannabis. It's amazing. You should go.
John is a fan.
Are you high right now?
No. He's got to go to court.
He's just really tired.
The Bug Guy Pest Control. As warmer
big
temperatures
bad bug guy.
approach Northwest Indiana, don't let ants, wasps, or spiders spoil your pool parties, backyard barbecues, or outdoor family gatherings. Help your guests enjoy a pest-free deck, patio, or pool area with a comprehensive pest control plan from the Bug Guy. Always professional, fast, and friendly without the big prices. Call today and tell the pests the Bug Guy is on the way. To schedule your appointments, call Brian 219-810-7481 or visit thebuggguynwi.com.
Hey, Kevin.
John.
Do you struggle with any bugs at your house? Because you have a lot of trees and stuff, right?
Actually, I do have I have the pest control guy come out in the spring.
Yeah.
It's helpful. Now's the time to do it. I'm just telling you. If you have a lot of
Why are you
bugs,
laughing?
bring out
This
the
is
pest
how you
control.
do an ad.
It's
hey,
true.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin. Do you struggle with any bugs at your house?
I do.
These are the best kind of ads. It's like Eric and Kathy. Like when you really sell it, like you use
Sell
it,
it.
and you should use it. Yeah, I love it.
I
Love
can't
Eric
stand
and
bugs.
Kathy.
I had a trail of ants last year that I had to hear. Yes, terrible.
Mint.
Steve Kellogg.
Flies I had on the front
Mint
porch.
oil.
Steve Kellogg, can you hit up Cantrell and Cantrell? My wife and I want to really get involved in this because the salesmanship here for these ads is amazing.
Hot dog.
Yes.
We're in. I actually had somebody call me after our ad read last show and said, we want in.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Maybe
So-
this time it'll be better.
So it's going to be like, this show's going to be 55 minutes of ads and then 5 minutes of just
It's like
talk.
YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so let's lay this out. This Johnny Depp trial, it's crazy, okay? So he and Amber Heard were divorced in 2017, and then he sued his ex-wife, who is the actress. I mean, Lindsay, what's she been in? Aquaman. She was the
I don't like Amber Heard or
but you know
Johnny
what?
Depp. So I have no idea.
No, all right.
I just
thought
know that she was in like Aquaman,
Yep.
and that's about all that I am aware of. I
Well,
know Johnny Depp was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
for many, and that's part of the lawsuit. So she sued him in a $50 million. He sued her in a $50 million defamation lawsuit, citing a piece she wrote for the Washington Post about domestic abuse. And the suit said Depp has suffered financial losses because of the accusations, including being dropped from his role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Mm-hmm.
So it's filed in Virginia. It's pending right now. They said it might go 6 weeks, which to me is insanity, right? That's called Hollywood.
Oh, yes.
Right? And the funny thing is that Johnny Depp wasn't named in the article that she wrote, but he alleges it was clear that Heard was talking about him, and the lawsuit called her ongoing allegations of domestic abuse categorically and demonstrably false. And then it got spicy.
And then it got spicy.
Oh, it's been spicy.
His cross-examined yesterday by her lawyers. They smoked him. The case is over as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, what?
It's crazy.
The cross-examination?
And it's going on today too.
So he talks about I never did any of those things that she said. I never kicked her in the stomach in an airplane and things like that. I don't know if it was in the stomach, but he supposedly kicked her in the airplane. He said, no, that never happened. But he's talking, they have text messages that he's sending to his buddies. They're like, oh, Lord, I got really wasted on an airplane and I did some crazy stuff. And then maybe a week later, he sent her an email apologizing.
Right.
He's like, listen, I will never do that again.
Yep.
I will never do that to our family again. It's almost like there's several confessions that they have on paper they confronted him with. And he's like, oh, that was just guy talk. No big deal.
Here's what he says, quote, I am an insane person and not so fair-headed after too much of the drink. Weed, pills, fine. Booze, my capacity is too large and I won't stop. Ugly and sad, oh, how I love it. And then he wrote to the same guy, let's burn Amber. Let's drown her before we burn her. I will F her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then he's previously apologized
No,
to the
John,
jury.
you don't talk like that with your guys.
And he said,
It's just guy talk.
On the stand, he said, in the heat of the pain I was feeling, I went to dark places.
Like setting your wife on fire and then making love to her burnt corpse is pretty.
That's pretty dark.
That's pretty visual. That's a huge visual.
But let's be honest, Amber's insane.
Well,
right?
I mean, there's some crazy stuff that
she pooped on his bed.
He did it. He did allege that.
That was supposedly one of her friends. I mean, we've all been there, right?
Well, she's friends with people who poop on your bed. That's great. That's amazing.
So she says the first time she was assaulted was when Depp slapped her in 2013 after she made fun of a tattoo he had. The one that used to say Winona Forever when he was dating the actress Winona Ryder that he altered to Wino Forever after they broke up.
I could come on for my third visit and talk about all the stories I have from my legal career about protest poops. Because, I mean, an efficient protest poop can send a really good message to a human.
Are you being serious? You've seen that? You've heard about this?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen
Thousands.
I've
That's
seen
the next
That
ad.
happens every day.
Thousands of poops.
Every day.
10 per week for 19 years in Hammond City Court.
So here's what this is what we say about this, or this is what I heard in the article. The fight had started as Depp said he'd realized it was time for the couple to split. The argument intensified, he said, as Depp accused her of leaving human fecal matter on his side of the bed in the penthouse they'd shared. He said Heard kept denying it, blaming it on their small dogs, but he was convinced she was lying. When I read that, I was like, okay, this is
There's
just
a big
like,
difference
let's
between
talk about,
human
let's just
poop
air
and
it all out, and we're just going to put it all out here for everyone to see, and we're going to decide, let these jurors decide who's right. I mean, it's crazy.
But I do think that, sometimes animals can get into garbage or eat something in
Yes.
the backyard, and they can take man-sized poops, or women-sized poops. So
They
He
have
should
a
have tested
small
it.
dog.
He
Yes.
should have tested it.
you could have saved it and tested it. Even if they broke down, just didn't do DNA, they did basic elements testing. They could have seen if it was dog food or human food.
So one of the things of and this is something that John and I both know, we've done these kind of suits before, is that you don't just get to say, you said something that was false about me.
Yes.
You have to actually prove damages,
Yes.
right? And so Johnny Depp has said that his acting career took a tank because of the article that Amber Heard wrote. And he's said in specifically his Jack Sparrow role was affected. And then the Amber Heard lawyers are saying, oh, wait a minute, that actually, you were cut from that 3 months before the article. And you were cut because of your behavior and how crazy you are. And so that to me is like, you've got to be able to prove damages.
You have to.
You got to show like your income went down. You didn't get jobs. He needs a witness to come and say, I didn't hire him because of this article.
If you look at how much money each Pirates of the Caribbean made, he can pretty easily show damages.
If you can show that it was because of the article. You can't show it because you were like on pills and cocaine and
nobody wanted to work with you.
nobody
Right.
wanted to work with you, right?
Causation.
Yeah, so I mean that's going to be the key is how is he going to prove those damages? That's going to be the interesting thing to me.
Well, from what I've seen, and I've seen very little, so I'm just basing this off of like 5 minutes worth of testimony I've seen. But he's blaming his drug use on the awful like circumstances of the relationship and things like of that nature. Like he hasn't done drugs since they split apart.
That's what he says, yeah. And he also said he was addicted to oxycodone.
Yeah, so like his opioid use, his drug addiction, his alcohol use, he's blaming it on Amber. So is it just the article she wrote, or is this just the relationship is what caused this behavior and that's what caused him to lose? Is that what he's arguing, or?
Yes, and you know what?
Okay.
One of the big problems with oxys and all opiates is if you just use marijuana, it could really. If marijuana was legalized, it would help so many people who have opiate addictions to beat their addiction. And that's a huge problem.
We're coming
in
back
Indiana.
full circle.
Full circle.
There you go.
You also
John?
know that opiates make you constipated, so he obviously didn't poop in the bed.
Correct. That's a good defense, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Lindsay's now part of the Johnny Depp plaintiffs team.
Well, she came out
No.
strong saying how much she hated Amber Heard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just think that they're two really toxic, messed up people who need to stay very far away from each other. And
Do you have an affinity for Johnny Depp that you'd like
No.
to talk about? I mean, you're really, really anti-Amber.
I grew up with people like kids who were like really into Johnny Depp because of
Pirates of the
Pirates of the Caribbean or like other movies that he's been in. I had friends who were really into like 90s Johnny Depp. It never really struck my fancy.
Are you attracted to men who wear eye makeup? Eyeliner? Specifically?
He does.
Not really. I was a Leonardo DiCaprio fan as a
yes.
kid, so
John, let me ask you, because John's brought, we've had discussions on the pod about John Vesmart, about cancel culture and about the Me Too movement and all this. How do you see this trial, if at all, I guess, would be the better question, working into that whole thing that we're dealing with as a
In a way,
society?
I'm glad this is happening because if you guys remember like 6 years ago when this article came out from Amber, he was just like, it was like cancel Johnny Depp. It was that like knee-jerk reaction. So in a way, it's good to kind of have this, everyone's kind of tuned into this
Because he
testimony
filed a
of
lawsuit, right?
everybody. Right? Yeah. And then we'll figure it out. The court will decide and we'll go from there. But I'm just glad it's happening in the sense, again, because this knee jerk, the judge, jury, and whatever is happening
In social media. Right.
And that's
I
got
agree
to
with you.
stop. It
I agree
has
with you.
to stop. I don't know if you guys are following this Elon Musk stuff right now. He's on this
Crazy.
big kick of like the woke mind virus. And I think, and he's talked about cancel culture with that. Like, where are we headed with this? You know what I mean? Like, how far can this go on?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's real. To me, it's a slippery slope because, John, it's almost the flip of cancel culture when you say, like, oh, you're woke, and all of a sudden that, like, has some meaning. And I think it's more than just labels, right? I mean, to say someone's woke versus, like, well, let me hear that issue. Like, you keep hearing, oh, all woke people want to talk about critical race theory. But the reality is that's a really different issue than you're woke or you're not. And I think it goes the same way as cancel culture. You have to be real careful about throwing around terms that can label things when you really need to look into it. And I agree with you about the Johnny Depp case. It's good that he filed the lawsuit because all of a sudden you get to see it's not just cancel Johnny Depp because of the article, right? We're going to get this flushed out. And I'm all about, I think, flushing out issues, which talk about going full circle, like Tom doing the commercial. It's flushing out the issue. It's not just like, oh, Tom's smoking weed. And I think that's the key to a lot of American society is stop with the instantaneous opinions on social media and let's get back to discussing things.
But a lot of times it's not people who are in the middle. It's people who are angry on one side or the other.
So true.
And that's why Tom's a great candidate because he's in the middle. He's for all people.
Yes, he is.
Remember,
he's the people's candidate.
He is. He really is.
Remember, even just when Tom admitted he did it at a Grateful Dead show, that made headlines.
Right.
And
it's
there was
wild.
really no flushing it out there. So in a way, this commercial, was also good in that sense that he could expand on his thoughts.
You guys are really good at like taking topics and bringing it full circle back to what we started with.
Yeah.
Well,
you guys
John,
are lawyers talking in circles. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is even when Tom and I were talking about this as well when the commercial hit and it came out and it was just catching fire. He's like, I just feel like in 5 years or 10 years or 3 years, we're going to look back on this and laugh and say, isn't that crazy that we took so much? It was so controversial or it was so much of a big deal at the time because I think we all know as time goes on, marijuana is going to be legalized. It's just about when and who's going to take that step to do it.
How do we not see this as history repeating itself? Think about the 20s and Al Capone and Prohibition. People are grown-ass people. Like we have to go across the Illinois border, smoke weed in somebody's backyard who's nice enough to let us hang out there for about 6.5 hours.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, he's an amazing criminal defense lawyer from Chicago.
Yeah,
he's an awesome guy. But this is something that. This is happening again. We're living in this period of time where people are killing each other. It used to be over booze and prohibition. Now it's marijuana. We're living in that period of time. So then you look back and you're like, what are they thinking? They're crazy.
Think about in 30 years, right?
This is the same thing. Like Tom has the guts to do it. Everybody who smokes needs to come out and just own it, get people registered. And like I know this isn't a one issue thing, but I really want to focus on this issue. And I know not everybody likes that. This is a referendum. You can show the whole world. You can show the whole world and the United States
John Cantrell.
About how many people really want. If a bunch of people come in and register, and Tom whips Todd, it's a referendum.
There you go.
Did you
be part of the referendum?
Yeah.
Did you come up with that like a while ago, and you've been waiting to use it, or did you just come up with that right now?
Ironically, I came up with it at the 6.5 hours in Crete, Illinois at the weed commercial.
That's the title of the show.
At what time, though? That'll give me some thought about when was your creative mind working? Was it
later in the shoot? To be honest, later in the shoot. Yeah, Vesmar was like, "You got to stand up." I'm like, no.
I will say there is a blooper reel coming. I think.
Oh,
and we're going to talk about this later.
That shoot was 6 hours.
Oh my God!
I really need to see that blooper
reel before it goes
please,
out. All right,
yes.
It's
John,
like
you
wrangling cats. I swear.
Yeah.
John, we should give some really good kudos and props to the folks that did the ad.
Yes, please.
Yeah, GPS.
GPS is who did the ad, and Cody was amazing. He was the
unbelievable.
Yeah, producer, cameraman, along with John. Cody and John worked the whole shoot. I got to hold the boom mic. My arms were tired.
What do you think Cody's takeaway was after that shoot? That's his first time
never again
working with all of you insane people.
If we see him again, we'll know it was okay. If we don't ever see him again, we'll know.
Jay,
he was like, Jay, don't ever send me to those guys.
We need to get a party bus and drive Cody around, take him to the mission, and then take him to Sonic. Yeah, he's earned that. And I want to thank the people that showed up there. My buddy Nick Montalongo came. My other friend Derek was there. Like, people showed up. The guy from 18th Street, Michael.
Mike was great.
Mike, he's a champion
phenomenal.
distiller. My wife Kristen says that 18th Street distillery work is.
I was there
art.
the other night. The bourbon that he has distilled recently. If you haven't been to 18th Street, obviously we love Drew Fox and his folks, and Mike is the distiller there. The bourbon that he has just distilled in there, it's like, believe it or not, everybody knows I like bourbon. It's only been in a barrel 3 months, and it tastes like it's been there for 10 years. It's unbelievable. Go try it out.
I wish I could.
All right, this for your wife. She'll go try it out. All right, so let's wrap up the show.
She vouched for it.
John, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yes.
It's awesome. I know it was on short notice. Tom hit the road. Obviously, the Locomotive's not here, and he'll be back soon enough, but he's on the Legalized Cannabis Tour with the Indiana Democratic State Party. If you haven't signed up, go to Go McDermott, at Go McDermott on Twitter, at Tom McDermott Jr. on Twitter, Facebook page. Follow the campaign. TikTok now.
At Go McDermott on TikTok.
Thanks for. And by the way, public service announcement. Please, everybody, if you can early vote, go early vote. Lots of places are open in Lake County and across the state of Indiana. Please early vote. And election day is May 3rd.
And
all right.
Vote for Marissa McDermott for judge, too.
There you go. One of our sponsors.
Yes. Amazing judge.
Paid for by the committee to reelect Marissa for judge. All right. Everybody have a good day. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you.